I should have got a toothpick.
We live, brother Nate.
Be careful. You might learn something. Let's go. You are now tuned in to the Factual Opinions Podcast with your hosts. I am Pharaoh. Straight facts.
What it be, world? Factual Opinions Podcast. This is season 4, episode 21. We are calling it Herman Boone because I'm in Coach Boone mode. I'm tired of excuses. Perfection is what we are after. No excuses. Just get it done. It's your gracious host. I am Pharaoh, checking in with the Brown, Bruce Wayne, Big John.
Yes, sir.
Will West, the best, Nate.
You know it.
And, I want to say something, man. I love these two brothers to death. They know that, but I'm truly glad that I have co-hosts that had the juice, man, to fill in when I don't have it, but these two brothers right here, man, I'm telling you what, man, these are two of the most well-rounded, popular brothers I know, in my opinion, at least. So I am thankful. But I want to ask before we get into the sports stuff, since we are a couple weeks away from that holiday, what are you two gentlemen most thankful about for the year 2024?
Man, I am thankful for the family that I do have here, the friends that I do have here, my health that is perpetually getting better. I'm trying to push to get better, and just life, man. Like life in general, bro. Because as we know, and we all been through some stuff the past couple of years, it cannot be here, and it cannot be going as good as it is. So just realize that you're blessed with what you have and what you're trying to do, and keep striving for what you're doing.
Brother Nate, what are you most thankful for in 2024?
I'll say what I'm most thankful for is, well, one's my spouse.
Ain't you sweet?
I know I'm trying to be sweet, I guess. Whatever.
Lucky bastard. Go ahead.
But I think I'm just like Big John. I think I've been through some ailments, so I've appreciated my health a lot more this year. I've also appreciated my friends and my family as well, because we went through tough couple years, like Big John said, and we just got to appreciate the people that's around you. And I have some friends that I call family before I call them friends. So
Yes,
I
sir.
really appreciate my friends especially, and then my soon-to-be wife, and just everything that we've been given right now, because those are the number one things we have to learn to remember. We have to appreciate and be thankful for what we got.
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate you too, brother Nate, because I know I'm in that friends family category. I'll piggyback off of that. I mean, obviously, for those that know me, past few years, Brantley family wasn't big to begin with, but been hit pretty hard. So I've always, had a group of friends that I consider to be, family to begin with. So I appreciate, love all of y'all. You know me, man. I'm just appreciative to be here. This episode is actually dedicated to my mother, Queen Karen Joyce Brantley, as today is her birthday. So I was out with her earlier. I actually took the day off to totally devote to my mother and hang out with her and have fun. So appreciate her
Happy birthday,
as
mama.
my other
Happy
best
birthday,
friend. But yeah, just the usual, man. And of course, I'm thankful for those Buckeyes of the Ohio State University, because some of my other teams are seriously letting me down right now. So let's go on and get into it. Big John, the hell happened with them Hurricanes second year in a row with them Yellow Jackets?
I'm not, number one, I'm not surprised. I'm just mad it happened to the team that it happened to. I thought it would probably happen to a Clemson, to a SMU, to a Pitt, which they're not gonna see Those three teams probably what I think
That's
they
the
play
end of the
SMU,
season. They got
yeah,
SMU, then they got Pitt. That's at the end of the
yeah.
season.
But they ain't gonna see Pitt
No,
or Clemson. Hold on. They're not gonna see Pitt or Clemson into the ACC championship, but they will
that's
see
what I
SMU.
meant to say. That was my
They
fault.
will see SMU. But no, I knew it was gonna happen eventually. I just was hoping that it wouldn't happen to Georgia Tech. Like I said,
Twice, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it's 2 years in a row.
the first one was a brain fart, and I don't know why it happened. That should have just been a kneel down and done. This year they got beat, and they got beat because they have holes in their defense. They have a problem stopping the run, and brother Cam, even though he's had an incredible season, he did not take what the defense was giving him. He tried to make the big plays and held onto the ball versus just taking the easy play, running for the first down, taking the dump off, getting the first down. He tried to keep looking, and like I said, those young men on the other side of Georgia Tech have scholarships too. They play hard too. So eventually your luck is going to run out. And then your defense already wasn't stopping anybody. So that was a problem. You lost to the backup quarterback and the backup running back from Georgia Tech. So yeah, I knew it was going to happen because they are very high powered on offense, but the defense has trouble. And I knew it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing with fire to begin with, this year with as many close games as they had. I didn't expect them to lose to Georgia Tech, this year. So the latest release of the college football playoff rankings, the second edition so far this season, were released. Oregon and Ohio State were still number 1 and 2. Anybody get a chance to look at the rest of the rankings and the list?
I caught the first one. I didn't catch the second one because I was at work, but I'm pretty sure it looks like Jumanji now, but everybody is losing. Georgia gave up another one.
I think they out. I think Georgia out now.
Oh, Georgia's out.
They won't remove Georgia, man. That's all for play right now.
So hold
Putting them
on.
at number 12.
Okay, so they're out, bro. Tennessee, Alabama, and Ole Miss are ahead of them. They're not jumping all three of them.
Yeah, but we got a major game this weekend with Tennessee at Georgia.
That's true.
That's gonna take care of itself right there.
Yeah, Tennessee will Tennessee can possibly put the nail in the coffin, but Georgia beating Tennessee, if Alabama wins out and say Ole Miss wins out and they play Alabama in the SEC championship, Georgia's not going to jump both of them. No. I don't think they're going to jump over them.
But as much as I want Tennessee to be back as the preeminent SEC team and feel like this may be the year that they make that jump finally under Josh Heupel's leadership, they're still going on the road to Georgia this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you can't discount that. I mean, that's quite a feat.
You're not going to discount that.
They ain't won in Georgia in how many years?
It's been a while.
Well,
I don't know if it's happened under Kirby Smart's leadership, if I could say that.
Tennessee just got back, so it's been a while for them beating a lot of people. I know they beat Bama and they got a couple key wins, but it's been a while before they beat a lot of people. But I'm happy for their success. I want them to do well. But I think they got a good chance. The way Georgia's quarterback is playing, sometimes he looks great, other times he looks like he don't know what he's doing.
I just don't see the explosiveness on offense from them, not just at the quarterback position, the running back position, or wide receiver this year. I just don't.
We had the
they look very bland this year.
We've had this conversation, off air. I think Kirby Smart is using that old Nick Saban model before Nick Saban had to step into the 20th century and started getting dogs on offense. Nick Saban has always had a good running back, great offensive line, and a great defense. Yeah. Until he started losing, then he started getting the Hurts, and he started getting the Tuas, and he started getting the Julio Jones. He started getting the Amari Coopers. He had to take those.
To get those key three pieces. You just said that.
He would always run off. Yeah, he would always run off like 2 national championships and lose. So he had to start getting those offensive players. And I think Kirby Smart took that model. Okay, we're going to run the ball. We're going to play great defense. But now he's not even getting the running backs anymore. He's not
Well,
getting the running back.
let's not forget, not to interrupt you, Big John, but not just the recruiting had to change. He also had to make changes to his staff to open up the offense when he started getting the Lane Kiffins and the Sarkeesians as offensive coordinators to open that up because that really wasn't his style. So maybe
Right.
Kirby Smart needs to think about doing that with the Georgia staff, bring in somebody to help him open up that offense. But I'm just saying they just look very bland to me this year. So is everybody picking Tennessee on Saturday?
Yes, I am. I am.
I want
Be
to. I'm scared to.
Who am I?
Because the reason why I say that, whenever Georgia takes a loss, they always come back with a vengeance and play hard, regardless if they look vanilla. When they took the first loss of the year, they came back and upset another team. So it all depends on what Tennessee shows up. If the Tennessee shows up that puts up numbers that can't be stopped with who's the head coach, Josh Heupel, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
If that team shows up, Georgia ain't got a shot. But
I'm
if
gonna
that team
pick
don't show up,
I'm gonna pick Rocky Top, but Georgia has been Dr. Jekyll of Mr. Hyde all year
season.
because is it the Georgia that really went down to the state capital of Texas and popped what I still believe is one of the top 3 or 4 most talented teams in the country in Texas, or is it the one that laid an egg against Alabama?
right.
And tried to come back at the end. So we don't know, but I'm going to be on record, and I'm going to pick Rocky Top to go ahead and make that next step against Georgia. Now the question I have is the Heisman Trophy hierarchy, has that been changed? I thought going into last weekend it was Dylan Gabriel of Oregon and Cam Ward battling for that top spot. The running
It
back from
has. Let's go to that running back from
Boise State after them, and I guess in the far off world, maybe Travis Hunter may get invited to New York, possibly.
I think he gets invited. I think Travis Hunter gets invited. But the boy in Boise State, his numbers are just absurd.
Two things have to happen. Like you said, I thought it was Dylan Gabriel and Cam Ward to lose. I actually thought it was Cam Ward to lose. But he
probably was.
He poo-pooed that down the drain. I think people are still kind of hesitant on Dylan Gabriel, even though he's having a hell of a season. I think Travis Hunter got a shot if the Buffs can actually win the Big 12, which they have an opportunity to do.
They do.
He may get it. And also the kid from Boise State, if they make the playoff and he keep putting up those Barry Sanders, Walter Payton numbers, he may get it too.
Craziness.
But
I thought
as things
Al, they was in that, wasn't
they? They are. As things are currently constructed, Boise State would go to your state university in round 1, which.
But they still putting them in that limbo because all of the records now.
Because you're gonna have some 2 and 3 loss SEC teams that are gonna be stacked in there, and it'll be interesting to see how the committee's done. I actually like what the committee is doing. They're not overvaluing that league because I do believe for the second year in a row it's a tad bit, shall we say, down, or I'll use the term overrated, as well. But, they're not just giving it to them based on name, because conference, supremacy is a year-to-year thing. I hate when people try to come into a season and automatically say one conference is better than another. You don't know that until the games start being played and we see what teams do against one another. So it's going to be interesting. But before we pivot to Coach Prime, because I do want to, talk about the Buffaloes in particular and him in general. This Oregon thing is nice and all this fancy gadget stuff that they do, but I'm going on record, and I don't even care if I'm wrong because I don't believe I will be. I've been saying this for weeks, and I knew once it happened. And John, sorry, throw a shout out there at Big Bro. People like my brother Calvin Hill, the third. I told everybody I have a photographic memory. as things are currently constructed, and my Buckeyes do have a tougher than expected game against Indiana in a couple weeks, who is undefeated. And of course, I don't care what their record is. That game against that team up north last Saturday in November. They're going to play Oregon again in the Big Ten championship. Things will get corrected. I'm just on record of saying that. So it looks nice now. Everybody's got Oregon #1, laughing about that 32-31 game that happened, in September. It'll get taken care of. Or excuse me, October is when that happened. Just remember that Al said that it'll get taken care
Is
of.
the game still in Indy?
It is still in Indy.
Okay.
We you know what, Big John? That's the one that we should go to. Honestly,
That might not
man.
be a bad idea. I think my boy JC was talking. I think they're going, so that might not be a bad idea.
It's only an hour and a half away, man.
That ain't far. Yeah, we can make that trip to Indy real quick.
Nah, I wanted to go to the game for nostalgia reasons, but I figured that out.
I know. We all wanted to do that, but they are waxing.
Oh, that's why I'm trying. That's why I'm trying to get them early.
The tickets went back up.
Yeah, I know. Just things was happening this year, but that's fine. No, I feel like Oregon and Ohio State will take care of itself in the rematch, and
they better, or your coach in trouble. They better.
Okay. So
no, I'm not down them. They better.
I have a strong feeling on what's gonna happen in that game, and it ain't gonna be 32-31. I can promise you that.
Right. I feel
So you predicting? I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there. You predicting a shutout or a beatdown?
It won't be a shutout, but it'll be a significant multi-score separation in the score.
That's low key semi a home game for Ohio State as well.
I mean, adjustments have been made since then, and like I said, the one thing I will give Oregon credit for is because of their style of play, they are very hard to prepare for leading up to the game. It's one of those things that you have to be skilled enough and have the athletes enough to match up once you get on the field, and even then, because of the speed, because of the gimmicks and the way they play, football, you kind of have to adjust on the fly. So the fact that Ohio State is potentially going to get a chance to go back at them again, I'm just saying I'm very confident. Let me just say that, because outside of an offensive pass interference call at the end of the game, with everything considered, Will Howard's mistakes and blah blah blah, they were still in position to win that game.
To win the game.
So that's fine. But moving on, I want to talk about Coach Prime because I'm laughing right now because, of course, Deion Sanders, as everybody knows, is my freaking hero. Always has been, always will be. He can do no wrong, in my eyes. So I'm laughing because there were really people that expected Coach Prime to not be successful in Colorado. And me and Big John's thing was, when have you ever seen him not be successful at whatever he applies himself to, business, sports, life, in general? Inherited a 1-11 squad. Looks like your god brothers in the house, John. Inherited a 1-11
you right on
squad.
Time.
Yep.
Yep, right on cue.
Went 4-8 first year, and is now 7-2 in a position where Colorado controls its own destiny in reaching the Big 12 championship game. And if they take care of business, could win that and their way into the college football playoff. So my question is, with everything swirling around, and my cousin, who I've never met, Micah Parsons, throwing his coach under the bus this past weekend in the turmoil in Dallas, there could be an opening there. The Florida State criminals.
You got it right. They won it forever.
You got it right. Trimming everything down.
The Seminoles are trash. Man, what are the chances that Coach Prime is actually in Boulder next year?
I feel
I
like
don't think he's going. Oh, my bad.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
think he's leaving. It's a good chance that he may, with Florida State being in the dumps, he could take over that job. His name was actually dropped for the Dallas Cowboy job too as well. But and I know he got to secure his job either way, but he's been getting a lot of recruits. He just got a top quarterback to come see him because of his son. So he's still recruiting in Colorado, and they still want to come play for him there. So I don't really think he's leaving, but the two places that we just named is still home. And
Dang, I wish Minnesota was on here.
Yeah.
It's not just that with me because Shador, I don't know if y'all follow his IG or not. Shador already kind of admitted that he's going to the league. So, Shiloh doesn't have any more eligibility, thank God, because he's been in college since 2019. What are his incentives to stay if Jerry comes calling? And I'm just going to throw it out there. I know they re-signed him to an extension last year, but Dak Prescott just got hurt again and is likely going to be out for the season.
No, he got season-ending surgery. They already said that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, what if Jerry, who once upon a time said, if I had 11 of those, speaking to Dion, I could rule the world. What if Jerry Jones reaches out to him and is in the market because their record is going to have them picking very high in the first round and maybe drafts a Shador Sanders? Then what?
It sounds good. In theory, it sounds good, but and I know what Stephen they say. Jerry is my friend. We know how Jerry is, bro. Even if he likes Dion as a player, but to have him as a coach and have those two big, strong personalities, you seen what happened with the homeboy Jimmy. I don't know.
How many years ago was that, Big John?
And when has Jerry changed?
He hasn't changed, because that's my whole point. He loves the sizzle. He loves the headlines, the attention.
He loves them. He loves them. When it's about
winning from a business standpoint, regardless of what my record. Because we, like every other major network, are still talking about the Dallas Cowboys, despite them only winning 3 games. What would bringing Deion Sanders into the fold actually do?
Dion will have to. I mean, Dion's going to be Dion, but he will have to humble himself, knowing how Jerry is. It's going to be cool as long as they're winning.
I'm waiting for y'all.
But like we always talked about, the moment the spotlight isn't on Jerry, it's going to be a problem. And don't let something bad happen, because it's gonna get bad before it gets better. Even with Dion coming there, it's not going to be instant gratification. Especially in the NFL, it's not going to be instant gratification. He's going to, just like he did all the other places, he's probably going to take a lump 1 year, maybe 2, then he's going to get it together. It's not. I don't know. I think they will both have to humble themselves.
It's still a possibility. That's
for sure.
I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I seen something today that made a whole lot of sense. They basically was saying today, all right, so in the situation, they think Dion has something to do with the Dallas job, which I really doesn't think he does. But the scenario that they made, they said played out. So what they said is, obviously, if Dallas keeps falling to the bottom of the poll, they're going to continue doing what they're doing, so they're going to get a top draft pick. That's one thing. So the next thing is they're going to draft. They're going to draft Travis Hunter in the first round, and they're going to try to trade Dak Prescott to get the pick for Shador. So that was a scenario that I did see, and it makes sense. But
a whole lot of ifs.
Yeah, a whole lot of ifs involved. So these are scenarios that have been thrown out there that people think that if Prime goes to Dallas, he's going to play. He's going to have his boys down there in Dallas with him, also matching Shador up with CeeDee Lamb.
But here's the thing. That's a lot of ifs, like you said, and because people know he wants his son, how much capital is the Dallas Cowboys going to have to give up for that? They already got holes in everything, in their defense and their offense. How much capital they're going to have to give up just to get him?
The capital was you clean house with that contract that you just made Dak sign. You let him go. Jerry has to pay out of pocket for that. But then you got two rookies that are premier players. You're not paying top dollar when they're coming out in their first 3 years.
Well, I can tell you this, Nate.
But they're going to want the money.
Jerry's not going to swallow and eat that contract. He would have to find a willing trading partner for Dak Prescott. I know that much about it. He's not just going to release him or, still be paying Dak Prescott while he's playing for another team. That won't happen. And then you have to find a team that's willing at this point with Dak's, injury history and, every team may not feel the same way about Dak Prescott that Dallas does. I mean, I joke about it. I don't think that is trash by any standpoint, but I feel like he's the leader of that second tier group where you don't win because of them. Can you win with them? Yes, but you don't win because of them. And that's a lot of money to be playing for a guy that's not really going to be the deciding factor on whether you win or not.
I agree with you, but then I don't agree with you because we seen what Dallas did without him. They don't win without him. This is the first bad year they
Dallas,
had.
though.
But hold on. Wait. This is the first year they've had a bad record. What they went 12-4 the past how many years? And sure enough, they didn't produce in the playoffs like they should, but they were still winning. We seen what happened when he got hurt, how bad they were. I mean, yeah, Cooper Rush won those games, but after that he started losing, and that came right back.
Packers embarrassed them last year. The year before that, and I hate to do this to him, the year before that, that was the reason why they lost that game. The red zone turnovers are just not getting the plays done. I mean, that was pretty much, it's a team effort, but even when I watched it, and I'm not a Cowboy hater or a fan, but I watched that game and I'm like, you can't do that.
He definitely makes plays he shouldn't make. But he makes a lot of plays for them. Like you said, they may not win or lose because of him, but like a lot of times they do win because of him. I mean, you can say that.
I get you, but I'm saying that's in Dallas, and I don't feel like every team feels the same way about that Dallas does, or Dallas put themselves in that position with some of the moves they made where they kind of had to make that, their franchise guy. And let's be honest, Mr. Jones loves that. And when he loves a player, particularly the quarterback position, we saw with people like Tony Romo, he's going to double down, and that's going to be his guy. Sure. No matter if people even in the organization are saying it's not, until Mr. Jones is tired of him, that's what's going to happen.
All right.
But I tell you another place that I know for a fact before we get to our beloved Bengals, because I know Will had already said something earlier.
Yeah, he did.
Jerry is one topic, but I tell you another place where I know it's time to pull the plug, and I don't care what nobody says. Up there with the JETS, Jet.
It's time to
pull the plug on Discount Double Check because he ain't no more.
He's not.
Even trading for Devontae Adams ain't working. I don't know. I just think that's a cursed franchise at this point. I mean, we should be one to talk, but by the same token, just what he sound like can't get right
at all. I just feel personally he's older. We know he old.
What is he, 41 now?
He'll be
and coming back from an Achilles.
Yeah. No, this is my thing though. He's older. His accuracy is off. I think his eyes are off. So, and you can tell by the accuracy, this ain't 25, 26-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Even 3 years ago, he was throwing the ball. He was throwing it on a dime, and that dime ain't there no more.
I just think he's 41.
Yeah.
And
Father Time winning.
yeah, Father Time is undefeated. And I just think that he's clearly not the same player. There are weapons out there, with the Jets, but I just think his better days are behind him, and that's it. So I do want to. Did anybody tag Willie Wilson? I don't know if I did
Kelly
or
on
not.
here. I think I'm done. I can't tag nobody else.
I may have tagged him or whatever, but I gotta admit that he may be right about the Russell Wilson thing, at least for now. But um, moving on from that, there are a couple situations where we just know it's not working. Um, and that's one of them up there with the Jets. I think they need to be done with that. He's just 41, man. That's it. It's not taking anything away from what Aaron Rodgers has, accomplished. We know he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer for Canton and getting that gold jacket, but it's just done. Now, moving on to our beloved Bengals,
Oh Lord.
um, Will Johnson, man. I love dude. Pauls. Have known him since I was in seventh grade. John, you've known him long than that. But Jesus, man, like I have never seen anybody defend the coach as much as he defends Zach Taylor. Now he tries to clarify to say what his thing is, but I'm like, geez, dude, like I specifically laid it out on why I didn't feel like Zach was ever qualified for the job, and other things now that he does have the job, on why I still believe, as most Bengals fans that I've met and talked to, he is not the guy, and that the Bengals win in spite of, not because of. Now I get they made the Super Bowl, but if you didn't watch last Thursday night's game and look at Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and tell that we have two freaking superstars on this team that are doing the same thing that they did in college at LSU and would do the same thing on any other team. And that doesn't really have anything to do with Zach Taylor, just like his 1 year being quarterback coach for the Los Angeles Rams didn't have anything to do with the success of Sean McVay and Jared Goff as quarterback, who's killing it in Detroit right now. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. What up, Chris? Say what up, Chris. Let me just ask this, because there were two workouts that took place on
Oh my gosh.
Monday. The Bengals worked out former Pro Bowl running back Leonard Fournette and former four-time Pro Bowl cornerback Xavier Howard. Chose to pass on both, however you want to phrase it. Xavier Howard reportedly had a great workout, and they couldn't come to terms.
Super Bowl winning running back Leonard Fournette.
Yes, but more importantly than even that, we had Xavier Howard, who was a four-time Pro Bowler, defensive back, another spot that we really need help at right now, and couldn't come to terms. To me, means that the Bengals probably tried to lowball, him, just come out and say it. He got back on the plane, went home to Miami. Leonard Fournette, I don't understand how you let him leave the building either, because my point with both guys is, at this point, they can't be any worse than what you have right now on the roster. Why you don't sign, and then they sign a backup running back that used to play with the Browns and the Giants in place. Not trying to be funny, but we traded for Khalil Herbert, for a 6th-round pick. He gets in the game immediately and fumbles, right away. If you keep trying these bargain deals and hope that you hit big, this is kind of what happens. And I really hate to do this, because y'all know I really don't like to criticize them, especially, with the possibility of me ever, working for the Bengals one day. So I'll let y'all speak on this. Big John, Nate, what do you think about the lack of moves during the trade deadline this year, and just some of the signings that we've had as of late coming up short?
I said this last podcast. We've had a couple signings, whether it was Hendrickson or a couple others, where we actually went out and got some guys. But the Bengals are known for getting guys that are right out of their prime, that are too late, or that are not really good signings. They're just trying to save a dollar. They did it over the years. This is what they do. They don't make noise in free agency. They don't make big trades. They don't do none of that. They draft, they produce, and if they do get a signee, it's either he's past his prime or he's not. They're hoping to have a diamond in the rough kind of thing. It's never they go get that guy. It's never been that way.
Hey,
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
up,
I would
Wiz?
have. Yeah, like I said, they needed Howard. They definitely needed Howard, but
How do you
they
let that
probably
man walk out the door, John?
they shouldn't have. But
That's the
to,
number
to
one. And hold on, I don't mean to cut you off. That's the number one person we need right now. To be
yeah,
honest,
yeah, Chris. But what was the offer? And just going off,
they said
history.
he said the offer on
His
his social media was a low bar offer. He said it.
historically, we know that's probably what took place.
yeah, and then as a defensive back, the pass rush is struggling, so you're gonna be out on the island a lot. So he probably looked at that too, like y'all not gonna lowball me, and I gotta come back and play.
We said Cam Taylor Britt has given up the most yards by a DB all season, over 500 yards. He is not a CB1. We need help.
That's a fact.
Yes, I agree.
Weeze. I agree, but it's an asterisk by that. We are
Why?
only getting that
Why?
because we are only getting a pass rush from one side. If your DBs have to cover for 8 seconds or 10 seconds, that's a problem.
But that's
It
their job,
is.
Big John.
It
It's
is.
not.
But while I think we got a steal with
It's
Cam Taylor Britt in the second round, we got a steal because he was a CB2, not a CB1, as Weeze is making. When you
also
have,
our
I was
defensive
just gonna
line is
say, when you
playing
have
way
him
better.
on the other side of even a Wouzier who people are starting to miss now, yeah, he looks a lot better. It's just like another situation that we're going to encounter next year when T. Higgins walks out the door in free agency, and our Bengals are going to try to sell you that Yoshi Vosh is a number 2 wide receiver, and he's not going to come close to getting the production of a T. Higgins or
Huh.
Tyler Boyd, and we're going to show you why, when it actually, happens, and they're trying to save, a dollar.
I agree, but one thing I do peep that the Bengals are doing, which may kind of soften the blow, I think they're gonna Patriots teams to death because now they're getting more tight end friendly. If you haven't noticed,
Yeah, they are.
and we
Very
do
much
and
so.
we do have three athletic tight ends. I'm sorry, Eric. All the young guy got hurt. Jaceki been playing well.
Yeah, he tore his ACL for the third time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the third time.
yeah. So they have been tight end heavy. So I think they're trying to do that to also cushion the blow. Yeah, they're gonna try to sell you Yoshi as a number 2 when he's not a number 2, but it's gonna be a whole bunch of
You are
tight ends.
sugarcoating so bad, Big John. You're
Wow.
sugarcoating real
What am I
bad.
sugarcoating? What am I sugarcoating?
Cause you saying all these things about tight ends and this and this.
No,
That's fine.
oh
That's
no, no, no,
fine.
no. Bruh, hold on, wait. Before you
Go ahead. Go ahead.
misinterpreted everything I just said.
Go ahead.
I said there's gonna be a problem losing Higgins. I've said they're using tight ends to cushion the blow. I'm not saying it's gonna save it. That's not my point. Now, if you want to go
I'm
back
not.
to the Cam Taylor Britt thing, I still agree with that.
Yeah,
No,
we got.
we're
Let's
gonna
go back there.
we're gonna circle
Forget
back to
these
that.
tight ends, bro.
But
That's
let
all
me
I'm saying.
but before we
Forget the
circle
tight ends.
back to that,
Higgins ain't staying. What you gonna do?
I
He ain't
want to
staying.
also quote Fat Joe and say that yesterday's price is not
It's
today's
not.
price when it comes to negotiating the Jamar Chase deal next year. Also, because if you haven't looked at the stats and look who's leading the NFL in receptions, yards, and receiving touchdowns right now, even his agent posted on Twitter last week, he's just making my job easier. Laugh out
For
loud.
sure, he is.
It's going to be a problem now when they could have got it done for a cheaper price, because even that 30 million a year that they were offering him this
That
year,
number's gonna be crazy.
yeah, it's not going to happen. But let's circle back to Cam Taylor Britt thing, because y'all know me, I'm a DB at heart, so it's always going to be an issue near and dear to me. I still don't think that he's necessarily playing bad. I think the problem is, like we said, he's not a number one, but he's being used as a number one right now. So he's being exposed a little bit. But the problem is you really need to go get that other corner on the side. Now, Bengals, if things keep happening the way they are, they could be in position to draft a Travis Hunter potentially, or a top tier defensive back. It's one of the few positions that the Bengals are willing to pay for and have historically, whether it's re-signing Leon Hall or going out and get a corner. We've had, luck with, like John said, getting guys towards the back end that can still play, a Terrence Newman, guys in the secondary like Reggie Nelson, because that's another thing I heard somebody else bring up. I forgot the gentleman's name, but he's got podcasts and a radio show here locally. He was saying, well, what about the safety acquisitions that aren't working right now? Geno Stone has not exactly come in and, been the contributor that they expected. Even bringing, my guy back, former All-American Von Bell from I don't think that he's playing bad, but he's just long in the tooth right now and doesn't make the same plays that he used to as well. That's why they're sprinkling Jordan Battle in there. So what about when the Bengals have made certain moves and they just haven't panned out? That's where you kind of have to admit that and go make up for it by these in-season trades or splash free agency signings during the offseason to make up for it. I feel like they tried to do that. I will give them credit in one sense. So they realized that Dax Hill was not a starting free safety, right? So they tried to move him to corner or nickel corner, bring in Geno Stone. It didn't work. Some of these moves that they've made or draft picks just haven't worked flat out.
Yeah. Can I say something real quick? We are the 23rd ranked defense in the NFL. We have issues all the way around. Our biggest issues is DBs, and I'm gonna say linebackers right now.
No.
I'm gonna say no.
I wouldn't say linebacker,
I know you guys are football guys. I know what you're saying.
No.
I know what you're saying.
Listen before you go over me. Our two linebackers are like 4th and 5th in tackles right now. It's not the linebackers. You were right about the DBs. It's the DBs and lack of a pass rush.
Okay, let's cancel. Hold on, Al. Let's cancel that. I said the linebackers. Let's cancel that.
Okay.
All the touchdowns have come from majority of the season, the defensive line and DBs. We'll say that. Ain't no middle of the field action going on far as the linebackers being beat or anything, missed tackles, anything to that nature. We'll say that. Let's leave that there. My issue is I'm not agreeing with Will Johnson, but the front office is a problem right now. And I'm not, and I know, Al, you got what you got going on, but I'm gonna say what I gotta say because I've been holding on to this.
You say it. Disclaimer: This is Will West.
This is a Will West statement. I'm saying what I'm saying.
Miss Blackburn, Mr. Brown.
This is what I'm saying. We don't let Howard leave Cincinnati. That's my biggest issue. That's the biggest issue I had all weekend, all week about this situation. Leonard Fournette, okay, it's kind of he's there, but he's a Super Bowl.
I don't feel like that was
back.
Okay, but go ahead.
But my thing is, you don't let Howard leave. You don't let him leave. That fills a void for our defense. If
you're serious about still contending this year.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If we talking about right now, getting the job done, you sign that man. You don't let him leave. If he start talking crazy numbers, all right, now we got it now. But like, bro, you ain't even playing right now. Then that's when you start.
I don't even want to hear that though. Crazy numbers. You know what I want to hear, because everybody talked about Carson leaving, and I was just as pissed off as everybody else because you never give up on your team, and I thought that was soft, SOF capital T, soft, as Ray Gibson would say. But he also said something years later in his A Football Life story where he said one of his main problems when he went upstairs and tried to talk to, Mr. Brown and the front office is that the Bengals, in his opinion, and he had this warning for Joe Burrow too, never make that extra move to get him over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those scenarios and things that we talk about. There are a lot of teams that have made that extra signing during the offseason or made that mid-season trade to try to get over the hump, and we just don't do it. I'll never forget, when Andy Dalton and Carlos Dunlap and Geno Atkins were people that other teams wanted potentially in the trade market when we knew it wasn't working. And Zach Taylor's, last year here. I hate to say this, but the Brown family.
Marvin?
No, I meant
said,
I meant Zach's last year. I mean, first year.
Oh, you talking about the first year? The first year.
Yeah.
He said last. He threw me off.
When they benched Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
On his birthday, and there were teams like Chicago that were willing to trade for him. The Brown family was on a family vacation in Switzerland. They weren't even entertaining trades. And again, I'm very careful for numerous reasons on what I say about them on here, but it's just not even entertaining it. It's not even entertaining trying to get better. And that's the part that pisses me off, because I've seen that look on Joe's face before on a number of other players that have come through here. I've seen that look on Boomer Esiason's face. I've seen that look on Carson Palmer's face, before, where you realize you a bad, what, but there are other things at play here that even stop you from doing that. Now, Joe almost did it. He came within seconds of connecting with Uno and delivering us our first world championship, but Aaron Donald bear down on him. But that window, as much as people don't want to focus on it, that window is closing. If not already closed for this current group, where they're going to have to regroup, as we just mentioned, with free agent signings, trades, hitting on your draft picks. Because 2 years ago, I heavily criticized the first round pick of Miles Murphy from Clemson. And there were several individuals, including the individuals I won't mention by name, that I no longer associate with, that, drink the Kool-Aid all the time and everything that the team does is, just perfect and right or whatever. And it does not mean that you're not a fan, diehard fan, that you're not still going to support them just because you have opposition to a move that they make or, decisions that are made in the front office. Because I'll tell you something else. Joe Mixon still looks pretty damn good out there on the field.
He looks real explosive. He
pisses everybody off when he gets touchdowns, runs. You see his stats, 120 a game.
He don't piss me off, because I was one of the individuals that, and people watch a lot of football to still know very little about it. And that's what pisses me off, because for the last few years, you had diehard Bengals fans, and I'm going to mention one by name, even though I usually don't like doing this on here. Somebody we went to school with, Big John, Anthony Anderson, that even has his own Bengals podcast that he does, that was one of those people. Doesn't he look like he's tiptoeing and da-da-da-da-da? And I'm like, what the hell are you watching? No. At no point in time did I ever look at Joe Mixon during his tenure here and say he was the problem. And I don't understand how people started with that as their thesis and where they would start to begin with the Bengals' problems over the past years. Because the only thing that separated us from the rest of the teams in the AFC chasing the Kansas City Chiefs was the fact that we had a premier running back that was better than the rest of those groups that were trying that whole running back by committee stuff. I almost cussed that to me is garbage, and only a few teams can do that. If you have a Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that, they can do that. And again, that's few and far in between. You talking about
he was a blocking running back.
1%.
He was a blocking running back.
He wasn't the greatest at pass protection, but he wasn't horrible neither. I just know that from a strictly running back standpoint, I know that he still had it. Hell, he averaged over 4 yards per carry in the Super Bowl, and Zach Taylor chose to put Samaje Perine in there in several short yardage situations on 3rd and 4th and 1, only to get stuffed because, as I said many times when people were on his bandwagon here. He had no hits or lateral movement whatsoever, made Rudy Johnson look like Barry Sanders, and he got stuffed more often than not, other than that one screen pass that he caught against the Kansas City Chiefs that by design was wide open in the AFC Championship, and he didn't get touched at all as he ran downfield, which any NFL running back should be able to do. But that just excited people so much because he made one or two plays during his time here and had nothing really to do with his actual skill as much as it did scheme. So yes, I'm going off right now because this is stupid, and this is the type of stuff that happens here in Cincinnati and makes certain players not want to sign here because the fans get on these tangents and go off on stuff that don't even make sense, and they're not as well, knowledgeable as some other fan bases. So to sit up here and run Joe Mixon out the door like they did and make it easier for the front office to say, hey, well, we can go on and do that because you see public opinion isn't, high on him right now anyway. So let's go on and get rid of him and let's try to get by with Chase Brown and Zach Moss, who together can't carry Joe Mixon's jockstrap. It's stupid.
Mm.
Yeah, but when Joe Burrow made that comment about the window being open as long as he's here, he's right, but it's a slight curve to that. It's only open unless your front office makes the right moves. I've said it on other podcasts. The team they should be looking at is the Rams. When the Rams had that team with Gurley and Goff and it didn't work out, they tweaked it. They went and got guys. They went and got Stafford. They made it happen for them to win. If the Bengals do not do that, they will not win, and that window will remain closed.
What other podcast you been on?
I said previous podcasts.
I'm messing with you.
But like I said,
bro, you ain't made no appearance. No.
And the reason why, and the reason why, like I said, that statement has a slant to it. Yeah, the window is open. You're a great Pro Bowl quarterback. You are a winner. But unless your front office backs you and makes the moves that it needs to make in order for y'all to keep winning, it's not going to happen. And the Bengals are not known, as we said, for making those moves. So somebody in the office has to wake up and, hey, man, we got Joe Burrow, we got Chase. We may not have Higgins, but we got to do something before this window is shut completely. And you seen what you seen what happened with the regime before them, with AJ and all them. That window got closed. And it had great opportunity to do something. And then, like you said, the last year when they could have got stuff for those guys, they shut it down.
It ain't just that. We witnessed another regime before that. The whole Carson, Chad, Big Willie regime get squandered too. And I'm gonna say this: it's gonna be a sad day in Cincinnati if the Detroit Lions get a Lombardi Trophy before we do.
Man,
and that's a serious possibility this year too.
Hey, bro, I don't want to see Eminem and HaHa Davis on social media talking shit. I don't want to see that.
You might see it. And I'll tell you something else, though.
You might see it soon.
The culture has changed in Detroit because of a real coach like Dan Campbell, whose success has been proven from day one. Also, because their front office, historically known for not doing some of the same things we just mentioned, their either first or second best player, depending on how you view it, Aiden Hutchinson, goes out, breaks his leg early on in the season. What do? They go trade for Zadarius Smith to bring him in there to not replace, but at least add another pass rush force on that team because they are serious about competing still. And even with injuries and some of the things that have happened, they're still 9-1 right now?
Yeah.
Because there's a no excuse culture that has been created by Dan Campbell there.
And then gave their Pro Bowl D tackle, who is killing me right now, an extension. So they're doing what they need to do.
And stole ours.
Well, they didn't steal. They went and signed DJ Reader, to add to their defensive front. But that offensive lineman that you just mentioned, I love to bring this up right now because Cincinnati fans, man.
Hey. Before you get into that, Chase has been wonderful. But
yes, he has.
That Hawaiian that plays for the Lions. If it was anything close to Trent Williams, he's wearing the Detroit uniform right now. That boy is athletic. He can move. He's strong. I've seen him on screens running down DBs at 350 pounds.
What's that movie you, me, and Dupree with the security guards? What are you, Samoan? What do you think?
bruh. Man, that boy can move.
So we're speaking of Panay Sewell, which there's always going to go down in history in Cincinnati Bengals talk. I mean, I think everybody's okay with and happy that we got Uno, and obviously that sped up the process. But there's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak, or build a team. And Detroit just went about it a different way. They chose to invest on both, sides of the ball up front with drafting Aiden Hutchinson, drafting Panay Sewell. Then they went back and got, their running backs, free agency, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs through the draft. It's just a different way of thinking. And, Dan Campbell comes from that old school
he comes
model.
from that grindhouse football.
Normally that's how you build a team from inside out. That's normally how you do it.
Now, the only thing I will admit that I was wrong about necessarily is Joe Burrow, because I still wouldn't trade him for nothing in the world. But I just hate that he's having statistically his best career year since being in the NFL, but it's not showing up in the win column record-wise because of some of the other holes that we have right now. That's the bottom line. So, I mean, we've talked about it before. We said what needs to happen. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I know that things have somewhat changed now that Ms. Blackburn is running day-to-day operations. But, I posed a question before. I said, have we really changed, or did we just draft Joe Burrow? There's different opinions on, the answer to that. But hopefully they adjust, because if not, it's going to be really rough.
It's going to be bad.
But moving on from them, because I want to make sure I don't forget this. Our Cincinnati Bearcats are ranked number 17 in the AP poll in college basketball, which recently started. Little concern, my man Dan Skillings is having knee surgery, or actually already had knee surgery. They said he'll be back by mid-December. But if you all haven't, we'll give you all time to jump back on the bandwagon, because old Al, I Am Pharaoh, was right about what was going on down in Clifton, and that UC was a basketball school as much as y'all hate it. And that's what it's going to be. And that's what they were going to pivot back to. And that is exactly what is happening right now. So y'all better start watching. I know there were some analysts that picked UC as a dark horse for a Final Four team. I'm not quite ready to go that far yet, but when you watch them play, even against the opposition that they're currently playing against, they're really good.
Yeah, they are. I agree.
And that freshman Tyler Betsy right now, ooh-wee.
Yeah, they snuck him in. Definitely snuck him in. I ain't know he had it in him. And he got the bounce. The bounces would shock me the most.
Wes Miller is back to, dare I say, and I use this term lightly, Bob Huggins-esque. Not saying it's the same level, but Bob Huggins-esque recruiting tactics. And right now, even in the transfer portal or flat out recruiting, the Bearcats are getting back to getting 4- and 5-star recruits.
Yeah, they
on
are
the court. Right, so these are all his guys, and these are all top level guys coming in. We had a freshman actually get hurt this year. Nate, you know who I'm speaking of.
Tyler McKinney.
Yes, from Cincinnati, who was another 4- or 5-star recruit who was ready to contribute right away. So as long as Dan comes back, because that is our leading scorer, I expect this team to do some real damage this year.
Mm-hmm. And Rayvon's getting garbage minutes, but
Brewski said the Bearcats the real deal.
He back in the Brewer things though. So Rayvon has actually looked good when I've seen him play as well. So long as he is consistent with his, he just got to be consistent with his jumper.
He said he using Curtis custom cuisine for the recruits meal, swearing their decision. I don't doubt it. You know, I love my brother's cuisine and foods, and have catered many times from him, even if it's just the shrimp and grits. You know,
You so obsessed with his shrimp and grits, Al.
because I'm telling you, man.
I bought shrimp and grits from him, whole meals from him, meal prep meals from him. Hey, that boy do what he do.
Yeah,
I
Kurt Cole
bought
good. Don't get me wrong, Kurt Cole
whole.
good.
I bought a whole tray, and I'm not embarrassed to admit this because I done lost 111 pounds over the past year, so I can have a cheat meal too. I remember one time I bought a whole large tray shrimp and grits from Curtis just for myself. It was actually the first time we catered the meal for Schroeder, which I need to give a shout out to my Jaguars. But there he is,
Kurt.
and and Curtis knows this too. I bought a whole large tray
Hey,
shrimp
Kurt,
and
you do
grits just for
rib tips? I
myself.
want some. I ain't supposed to be eating red meat, but I want some rib tips. Or some turkey tips. One of the two. I'll take both of
Brucey said I did the same thing.
them. Kurt, I might have to have you cater something, man.
Now
I'll be in contact, man. I
Kurt
might have
was
to have
there opening night for the Bearcats, so he know what I'm talking about too, man. They're back, and I don't have a problem with going out on a limb and saying that. I really just need them to beat that team from Norwood this year, then I feel better.
Yeah.
They say, what's the man on the way down there make me feel better?
Makes not feel better. I didn't want to miss Chris's comment. It said Big John feel, but in turn, if the receivers get open ASAP, the D line can't get a pass rush. It's a machine. We've had great safeties and cover back. I don't even want to get into that because I told y'all that Jesse Bates was the greatest free safety in Bengals history, and that he covered a lot of ground and made up for a lot of stuff that the
He
average
did.
person
Jesse
wouldn't pay
Bates.
attention to.
Me
Um,
and Amber was talking about Jesse Bates was a diamond we didn't know we had,
Oh, he's still balling with Atlanta.
and he's still a diamond.
But we've had that, and that's one of the positions that the Bengals don't like to play. We've had good safeties, whether it was, like I said, acquiring Reggie Nelson, Medea Williams. We've had good safeties that covered a lot of deficiencies that they've had, but that's a position that they don't like to pay.
Kurt said, I do it all, bro. He got the rib tips, whatever. He said, those Bearcats are back, love feed. Those guys see their journeys. Yeah, I knew you were down there too on opening night, man. It is a machine. So keep giving them good meals and energy producing properties that they need, whatever. It's the food program, the water, the Gatorade, the Jordan brand jerseys, having Anthony Anderson and Redman courtside and at practice, whatever. All the juice. It's all encompassing. We want Bearcats to be the coolest program again in the world because in many of my conversations with, UC greats like DeMar Johnson and Kenny Satterfield in the game, that is one of the things that they bring up ASAP, instantly, is the cool factor. How cool it was to go to Cincinnati and play for Cincinnati back then. I mean, that's the real thing. Because a lot of these kids, they're not like us. They don't care about tradition necessarily or pageantry. It's what's going on right now. And that's what sways them. So getting back to winning ways and, the drip, the apparel, the Jordan brand, all that is great, but you got to go out on the court and continue winning. And based on how they transitioned to the Big 12 last year and were basically in every game and competing, and there wasn't a whole lot of gap between the talent, this year it's going to get ugly with the upgrade in talent. So I'm looking forward to that for my beloved Bearcats. But Brewski and Kurt, man, I just want y'all to admit that AB was right. That's all I want y'all to do, man. As hard as it may be, I just want y'all to admit that I was right and that UC is a basketball school and that they were going to pivot back to that as soon as they got into a better conference. I won't hold it against you. I just want you to admit it, man. That's it. Yeah. I'm waiting for him to comment.
I'm gonna say this
because I need that.
I'm gonna say this. I give it 2 weeks and they'll be in the top 10. I give it 2 weeks.
Well, we got to play somebody with a pulse first. We're doing what we're supposed to do.
Hold on. I think we do. Well, we aren't we in a classic though? This in the holiday too. We play. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Hold on. We play NKU, Nichols,
Not a pulse.
Tech, Villanova, December the 3rd.
That's the pulse.
Villanova is the first one, and then we play Xavier. December the 14th. December the 20th we play Dayton. Dayton's tough.
That's the pulse. But while you doing that,
January 4th we play Arizona.
Sidebar, I was actually looking at tickets to go to that Dayton game too as well. I checked that on Ticketmaster as well, in case you brothers want to go.
Yeah, that might be a good one.
It's gonna be a Heritage. It ain't gonna even be a UC. It's gonna be a Heritage.
Yeah, it's a Heritage.
I'm still trying to sneak into that crosstown shootout, though. That's what I'm trying to sneak into. Yeah. Usually I'm a ticket snob, but even if I gotta sit in the 200 level for that, I'll be fine with doing.
Well, we can talk to our secret next week about that.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a special guest for those that are still tuned in next week, and I'm sure we will. I'll go on and throw out this teaser part of it. It will be my first Xavier Musketeer guest on this show.
And one of the most well-known Xavier Musketeers in Xavier.
It'll be well worth, the wait. And a person that I have wanted to get on here, y'all know I've had too many UC basketball legends on here, so that's why I really didn't want to do it. But by the same token, this gentleman will be, like I said, well worth the wait and a good guest. So I'm being unbiased, and we'll have a Xavier Musketeer on here. But everybody knows I bleed red and black when it comes to college hoops. There is no other program. But I'll be happy to have this Xavier Musketeer on here on the show next week. So with that, before we totally pivot away from basketball, I want to talk NBA for a second. So they've got this in-season tournament thing going again.
Guys play at 10, bro.
I know. And Anthony Davis supposedly is going to play. He got scratched in the eye, and that was his latest ailment.
No, he played. He just played the other day.
I know, but he got scratched in the eye, and they had to send him to an eye specialist to make sure that he was okay. After hurting his ankle before that.
That boy made out of animal crackers. What hurt?
JJ Redick. JJ Redick
you killed Kitty.
JJ Redick is getting a little frustrated after his 3-0 start. Things have not gone too well. My New York Knicks, though, beat the Philadelphia 76ers yesterday.
Beat the brakes off of them. Well, it wasn't the brakes. That overtime, it got bad. Overtime.
I'm starting to believe Cat when he says he's the best shooting center
for sure.
of all time. Yeah.
He's the best shooting big right now. Yeah, in the league.
Yeah,
outside of Joker,
that man is nothing but net. It don't even hit the rim sometimes when he's on his game. So I'm loving that, but I still have an issue with this in-season tournament. Having to pay somebody an extra $500,000 to do what you get paid to do, and it's supposed.
But it's good comp.
Again, so I got to pay you an extra $500,000 for you to do your job and for you to play a game.
You paying this money?
What does that matter?
Nate, it's the NBA. It's the best basketball league in the world. It should be good comp. It should be.
And stop changing the color of the court. That's garbage too.
Oh, you don't like that?
For what?
that let you know it's an in-season tournament game.
What Steve Harvey say? MF for what? Like just play, man. Oh, this extra $500,000 because it's an 82 game season. It's pure garbage, man. So the last thing I want to end on, brother Nate. So we got Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson on Friday. Finally,
For what?
What we watching the fight at? Is it your crib? Is it my crib? What we doing?
Y'all actually paying to cut that off?
You don't have to pay. It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, brother.
Oh Lord. Y'all really want to watch that?
Yeah.
I'd rather watch that than Nate. Nate
That's
continue.
my only reason to want to watch it.
See, but Nate be watching that bull because he turned on them Mayweather, fights, and I'm like, last Mayweather fight I watched was Mayweather Pacquiao because I knew it was a wrap after that, and I'm like, he ain't getting no more of my money personally. So
no, I just turned it on because it was on TV, bro. You act like I had it planned out through my whole day. No,
man, you got on there right afterwards and said, "Why did I turn this on?"
Yeah, it was just on TV, bro.
Look, who are we picking, man? Are we picking Jake Paul or Iron Mike?
I'm going with Mike. Mike been in that lab.
Well, that's not a question.
John, answer the question.
I'm gonna pick Mike, but it's no point. It's an exhibition. They're not gonna.
It's not an exhibition.
No, it's not an exhibition. This is a sanctioned fight.
All right.
That's what everybody keep ignoring.
So if Iron Mike loses, this goes on his record.
An exhibition. This goes on that man's record.
So when he fought your boy a couple years ago, was that a real fight or was that exhibition?
No, that was
exhibition.
This ain't exhibition. Mike been training like he back in the lab. I'm gonna send you the video of him showing the training and the sparring.
My beef is not. No, it's not me not caring. My beef is not with Mike. I just don't like Jake Paul, and it really, no matter how much.
That's why I want Iron Mike to end this.
No matter how much you say it's not an exhibition,
because he's ruining boxing for real.
It's an exhibition.
He's not ruining boxing.
I'm not gonna say he's ruining boxing. I'll take that statement back. But he's making a farce. That's what he's just found a way to get the money game.
He's making a farce, and like I said, he's only fighting people that are either past their prime and or not true boxers. Retired MMA.
Except Fury.
Fighters.
Fury was in. Fury was only one. But
again, and don't just say Fury neither.
Not the one and only. We're not talking about the one and
only. Distinguish which one that he fought.
Yeah, talking about little brother Fury.
That wasn't even Huey Fury. Didn't he fight like a distant cousin of theirs or something? Like he didn't even fight Tyson Fury's little brother. Like this is like very strategic by Jake Paul, and that's what pisses me off.
That's what he does. He's very
because he's talking mess like, yeah, I'll fight Canelo. So let me tell you something. You won't last 30 seconds in the ring with Canelo.
And y'all saying this, and y'all still believe this is not an exhibition? And y'all saying all this?
No. This isn't an exhibition.
Stop using the wrong terminology. It's not an exhibition. It is a sanctioned professional fight.
This is a sanctioned fight.
It ain't got nothing to do with what he said. It's fact. This is a sanctioned professional boxing match that will go on Mike Tyson's record if he does lose or if he wins. But the issue is he's doing what he normally does. This dude is fighting an almost 60-year-old. And the only reason why we're not giving the nod to Jake Paul is because it is Iron Mike and because I've seen the training sessions and the videos. And bottom line, what it comes down to, there's still going to be a gap in dexterity and coordination because he is almost 60, fighting somebody, half his age.
He's 50.
But I said almost 60. So what Roy Jones said is going to be very apt. Mike could get hurt. Mike could, get outpaced if it does go past, the first few rounds. But just like when Iron Mike was Iron Mike, if Jake Paul gets hit.
Yeah.
That part is not changing. That's what's amazing
Yeah.
at his age. If Jake Paul gets hit, and I think everybody wants Iron Mike to do this, to do away with this farce. But if he hits him, he's gonna feel the same thing that everybody that stepped in that ring with Iron Mike in his prime felt, and that's what I'm banking on happen. But
Big
Nate didn't
John ain't got
answer.
no faith. I don't like it one
Bruh,
bit. Big John ain't got no
bruh.
faith.
I'm with Mike. I want Mike to win. My problem is not with Mike. My problem is like Alex said, the farce that Jake creates. It just don't seem right to me. It just doesn't. It seems fake. Even though y'all say it's a sanctioned fight, I get that. It just doesn't seem legit.
It's not fake. He's just choosing people that he knows he can beat that have
Yeah, that's
passed
how
their
he doing. He
prime,
picking it. He
are
picking
older
his
than
people.
him, or aren't true boxers. It's like that Francis Ngannou or whatever, the hell his name is. Why even the guy that Nate don't like, my boy Anthony Joshua knocked him the hell out because he's not a boxer.
Not
He's
a
an
boxer.
MMA fighter. And that's all Jake Paul's doing, but he's sweetening the odds by fighting people that are, in a mid to late 40s on up. Or guys that haven't been in the ring for a few years and stuff like that. Who was that? Nate Diaz or somebody he
Yeah, he
fought
fought
that.
Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I'm like, if you
Nate
fought a
Diaz ain't
real
even fought a
fighter,
UFC in 3 years. Like, why
if
would you
you
fight
fight
him?
a real fighter, like and I don't even think Canelo would take the fight, but if he did, like, I would pay for that because, like I said, I know that he wouldn't last past round one with Canelo. I know he wouldn't. And he knows that too. So he can talk all tough and, I'm a crazy, I can't say what I want to say, from Cleveland, Ohio. Dude, you're not tough. You're not.
He from Hubert Heights.
All this YouTube sensation, blah, blah, blah. The late Kimbo Slice would have beat you know what, too.
Oh yeah, Kimbo would have beat him.
If you want to talk about YouTube sensations. So I hope that Iron Mike does away with this kid.
Yeah.
That's the prayers we're getting this weekend. We go pray on that one. Mike beating the
Nate
brakes
Nate
off of him.
didn't answer me though, so I guess he got plans or something.
I said I'd let you know.
All you married brothers.
I got a wedding this weekend. So
It ain't the wedding because I still ain't got my invitation yet.
ain't nobody, bro. I'm about to cancel the list. Everybody about to get canceled.
That don't sound good, man.
Everybody about to get canceled. Nah, we ain't did nothing yet, bro. We ain't did nothing.
Look at Big John talking about so.
Hey, Big John,
Huh?
stop.
Huh? My bad.
Nah, you stop definitely, Big John.
Stop it right now.
You dragged everybody out in the middle of COVID.
Hey man.
You did. You had a whole COVID wedding, bro.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did.
Had me sitting there with that mask on, suffocating.
Not suffocating.
Right.
That was before I lost that 111 pounds. I was fat. I couldn't breathe. But I was there for Big John and Miss Terry.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, fellas. I appreciate y'all.
So, as usual, folks, I want to remind everybody to please tune in to Factual Opinions, subscribe to the YouTube page, Facebook page, check us out on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for the audio listeners. This episode is available on YouTube and live stream on Facebook as well. Sponsors, tap in, Bex Auto Group, we need to talk, as well. Anybody that wants to sponsor, please reach out to I am Pharaoh at I am Pharaoh 86 on IG or Factual Opinions Podcast on IG. We're interested, so just let us know. Also, Nate has his podcast relaunching soon. I'll allow him to say it because I always butcher the name.
Men versus Truth versus Women podcast. We will be filming next couple of weeks, actually.
So mental health advocates, tap in. For all y'all that still like talking that relationship and dating stuff, tap in. I can't do that no more.
Can I get another episode? I got some stuff to say.
Oh, here we go.
I don't have nothing to say.
I got a lot to say.
I don't have nothing to say.
I got a song, and I want to say. I got a lot to say.
Last time I was on Nate's podcast.
Hey, don't blame me. Don't do that.
Hey, it may happen.
Came out.
Hey, it may happen to me too, but hey, I'm with the shits now. I'm with it.
Lord, y'all. What they been?
John, ain't no demons coming for you.
With Shay and Bria mama say?
What he say? What he say?
In Jesus' name.
I am the leader.
In Jesus' name.
Well, put that holy oil on. I don't want none of that.
Oh Lord. But yeah, we are relaunching. We'll start season 4 at the end of the month. Early December. So
yes, sir.
We'll be back.
Yes. So, and tune in next week. We'll be doing another episode. So we're doing back-to-back episodes with an unknown Xavier Musketeers basketball Cincinnati legend in general. So we'll leave it with that. It's your host, I am Farrell. Check it out with the Brown, Bruce Wayne, Big John, Will West, the best, Nate. I'm stealing from my favorite show ever, Pardon the Interruption. We'll try and do it better the next time.
Yes, sir.
For sure.